Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Play some Tetris 99. Always scary ending a day of recording on a win and then coming back a day later and being like, oh, I hope we still got it. But dude, I was about to start recording. I'd given you a little preamble and all that jazz, and then all of a sudden OBS was like, I'm struggling. And I was like, why are you struggling? I'm playing, first off, is Tetris. It's Tetris. You've been playing it on Pizza Parlor arcade machines since 1986. What gives? And then I was like, I'm playing it on the Switch. It's not even on the PC. So why are you struggling? And then I realized I opened up, the old task manager, and it was like Google Chrome is using like 98% of the available RAM. Not just 98% of my available RAM. It was using 98% of planet Earth's available RAM, which to me, it's too much. Look, Alphabet Corporation, you are, directly responsible for my existence, or my career at least. Not really my existence, unless, my parents have something they want to tell me about my conception, which, to be honest, now that I think about it, I would just rather they didn't. Okay, so please, don't speak to me. I know what you're thinking, and I don't need no reasons. Don't tell me because it hurts. Got ourselves in quite the predicament here, early on. Very, very spooky situation. Yeah, goodbye. And goodbye. Any chance we had at a double there. It's my first game of the day, but that was really bad. Look, I didn't come into this episode thinking we were going to build on the win from the last one and knock out 3 in a row, but I also didn't expect to come 90th with 1 KO in our first game. Life goes on. Still feeling good. Just get the hydration in. In a way, honestly, if you're gonna go, I would rather go in 90th than, 90th is kind of just like going gentle into the good night, which is a little shameful, I suppose, but better that than, like, spend a lot of our energy, like, clawing at a chance of victory and then having it ripped away by a Wyatt at the last second. I'll take what I can get here. I mean, you gotta focus on the positive, What are you supposed to... People, they're always beating themselves up over things that, they don't have that much control over. That's one man's opinion, but still. If you have the... If you have the ability, if you have the impulse and the, the capabilities of making a change, then make a change. I haven't invented time travel, so we're gonna have to just accept that last one, kind of got away from us, and that's fine, It's honestly a-okay. Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick send here. I do, no, that's okay. I do wish, been a little bit more sensible in our tower construction, but it is what it is, We're kind of... Oh, that's not how you do that. Okay, you gotta do a quick send. Hold on. Every once in a while, I think that's kind of a... people do like, Yikes, brother. People do like fasts and stuff like that. This is okay. People do fasts and they do cleanses and so on, and then, does it actually have an impact? Yeah. I think it does. I'm not saying it has an impact on a physical gastrointestinal health sort of level. I'm not a gastroenterologist, nutritionist, a PhD holder in, micronutrients or anything like that. But I think it can have a psychological impact on you. It's like a clean break sometimes. People, you got a problem with, your dietary strategy. You go on a little bit of a cleanse, and at least you feel mentally like you've cleared up a spiritual blockage. Now, I'm not really that kind of guy in my own life. I'm a little bit more, without being insulting, a little bit more analytical, I suppose. But, in Tetris, I buy it. I'm being 100% sincere. I buy it. You know, we have been playing some good games. We've been getting some wins, but I think that we've been a little under our overall potential. And that's okay. But I'd like to bust out of that if possible. And you're saying, well, bad start. I respectfully disagree with your assessment. This is just where you want to be a little cautious. You go to attackers and you give them a send. And that's the power of the Tetris cleanse right there. You can give one of these. Every once in a while, you gotta do a little creative problem solving. You know? I'm seeing fireworks. Might not be like, you know, the level of fireworks that I would like to see the most, but... let's make an agreement to never speak of that mistake ever again. Alright, Tomo, you may enter the room. Welcome, my son. You cost me a little bit of pivotal aggression, but it was worth it to have you here for the coronation. Now the hard part is, I mean, extremely apparent. Oh my god. You okay, Tomo? What's up, brother? Hello. Okay. Oh, controller. The controller's so haunted, dude. I want to be clear. It wasn't 100% the controller's fault there. You know, obviously, I put us in a spice situation to begin with as well. But it got haunted at the worst possible time. And that's the bottom line. It's haunted yet again. Dude, I think somebody tweeted me. And if this is you, I apologize, because you deserve all the credit for this. And I just happened to not remember your specific username. That's a reflection on me, and I apologize. Somebody tweeted me and said, make sure you have Rumble turned off on the Joy-Con. It's the most common source of phantom game control. And immediately, it's like talking to a doctor and having him like diagnose your symptoms 100% perfectly. Can I rephrase? It's like talking to a doctor and having them diagnose your symptoms with 100% correctness. Immediately, I was like, it is every time. It's not that every time it rumbles, it gets haunted, but every time it gets haunted, it coincides with rumbling. So, I think, honestly, you got it figured out. And I'm very, very grateful that perhaps we can put a cork in this bad boy. Put me on KOs for now. We've been kind of under the gun for quite some time here. 2 KOs is a pretty merciful place for us to be standing, in my opinion. We want to get to the bottom of this well. And then we want to build it back up in our own image. Unfortunately, consistently, it's not 2 steps, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But it's also not 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's more complicated than that. Sometimes we're taking multiple steps forward before we take a step back. Sometimes we're taking 2 steps backwards before we take a step forwards. But you know what? Given time, it's a given. We're back down. Probably shouldn't have done that one. And now, again, so we're taking a couple of steps back here, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. We just need to wait for our next long piece. Or not even, to be honest. We can just respect the other pieces a little bit more. We got down there. Where are we at? 5 KOs? Unexpected, but hey, man, you get choices in Tetris from time to time. And here's the real deal Holyfield, okay? I would much rather be in a situation where we're strong at the end of the game after being a little bit screwed up at the start of it, than be strong at the start of the game and have an effed position at the end. Now, admittedly, there's not really a good reason why we would have to make that choice. By the way, radio silence. I'm just saying, there are situations where we could just have a good situation to begin with, I suppose. And, you know, dispose of all the nonsense platitudes, but... NL, please, radio silence. Okay, I'm sorry, radio silence. Okay, we got heat. But we're at the bottom. Heat at the bottom is just like a stove. That's the way we want it to be. Put me on attackers so we can try to punish this individual. I need it. Don't send me. Not complete sends, at least. Thank you. Yeah, we got yeeted. But honestly, I think we held our own pretty well there. Third place, I can live with that. Let me crank the volume just a little bit here. Not feeling so bad. Just shaking the lead out. What do you think, Tom? Oh. He was asleep. I'm sorry, my son. I'm sorry. Can I pet you? Oh, he's hitting me with the... Oh, Tomo. Tomo, the blessed good luck charm. Thank you. I mean, I'm pleased with that game. I think if we got more momentum early, we would have had a better shot in the finals. I think we also... I mean, I can't confirm this, but my hunch is in the top 10... Or in the top 3, I should say. We had the other 2 people coming after us, which is fine. And not unprecedented. But it does, you know, it raises the degree of difficulty on the run. But, you know, as is their right. I mean, I've done the same on myriad opportunity. At the end of the day, there's no honor in Tetris. In the exact same fashion, there's no crying in baseball. You know? Everybody's out there for the dub. You can cry about, oh, people are using unfair tactics against me. Or you can accept, you know, the first step towards getting better is recognizing that there are things you could do, dude. Instead of there's nothing I could do, dude. There are things that could be done, dude. It's a healthier way to look at the world. Sorry, I'm not, honestly, like, not at all worried about attackers here. And that's just the straight truth from me. The attackers have me unconcerned. What has me concerned right now? What am I gonna eat for lunch? That's the main thing on the old cerebrum right now. I'm hoping I might be able to eat some KOs for lunch. I'm not saying that deserved a KO, but we've gotten more for less, if you know what I mean. I'm also, you know, I'm not concerned about getting yeeted in the interim. If I'm concerned about any level of yeeting, it's largely just due to the fact that our well was at least a little bit screwed up. Oh, hello, Daniel. Oh, you know what that means. Dan's at least slightly recovered from illness. Can we get what's a good emote? Let's not do Craigasm. It has potential connotations. Just hit me with a PogChamp in chat, please, to say welcome back, Daniel. After a sustained but rare bout of illness, Daniel's returned. I know what it's like, by the way. Dan and I, despite wildly divergent communication styles, in many ways are cut from a very similar cloth when it comes to work, you know? Though it's almost, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it's not necessarily the most honorable thing to admit, because, I mean, it sounds like I'm getting ready for some kind of huge revelation. That's not the case. To be honest, though, what I was going to say is I only really feel comfortable when I'm working. And I have part of my identity, part of my self-esteem. I wouldn't necessarily say it comes from working you know, a lot, but it comes from very rarely... Okay, hold on a minute. Comes from very rarely being the guy that's like, nah, I'm tapped out, you know? I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to that. It certainly is. In fact, the entire point of the conversation here is that it's not unique. But I know what it's like to be in that position where Mother Nature has decreed that you cannot work. It's frustrating, believe it or not. So I'm sure that he's happy to be getting back to doing what he likes to do. You should do it like this. You should do it like this. You should send him a quick send. No! Okay. Can I hit you with some honesty? We were screwed anyway. First off, we had no badges despite, in my opinion, playing a pretty solid game through most of that, but yeah, we ran into a rough spot on badges. We were pretty much just grist for the mill. We were in like the top 20 in PUBG with a Rick Grimes and a crossbow, just waiting to be yeeted. It happens. I'm very surprised we didn't pick up KOs there. Like, I thought we didn't play perfect, but I thought we cultivated aggression, sent lines, and, you know, for whatever reason, you know, it's like, Tetris is like a Plinko board, you know? You hit the pegs, it's a little unpredictable. Sometimes you fall down 10,000. Sometimes you fall down into boom, 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 boom. But yeah, you know, real talk. I have like a Walter White kind of recognizance or awareness of the fact that, you know, for a long time, I thought it was selfless to work a lot. And I've realized as I've gotten older, it's a little selfish. It's just not necessarily bad selfishness, but it's another way to fight anxiety. You know what I mean? Please let me send one more. Just let me send one more. Thank you. That's all I could have asked for. Let me get this orange piece, please. Thank you. And then we send. And we send. Okay, we got a long coming. That's please don't take that out of context. We're getting back down to brass tacks here. Good work. I think you'd stall and wait for something along those lines. We were waiting for our piece. You do it again. You could do it again. You could do it again. Yeah, we can do it one more time even. Hit me with the orange. We're back down at the bottom. It's cute. You sent me like one line of garbage. You really think that's gonna get the job done? I mean, maybe you didn't have any options, but still. Okay. It's good. It's good. 3 people on us, one of whom has KOs, and also one of whom is a genius, the other's insane. Very extremely highly cursed setup here that we're trying to work back to something a little bit more reasonable. And I think at this point you just accept, you know, you built a very cursed well, and now the well is kind of back down where you'd like it to be. You do have to use a long piece to plug this gap, but then you put this one here, and all of a sudden, sort of back to what I would consider a functional level. I have to apologize for something, by the way, that I said in an Isaac episode. Turns out, I mean, I'm hoping that if you watch Isaac, you also watch this, but I mean, there's no guarantee of that, I suppose. I have previously misattributed the song Back in the New York Groove to Billy Joel, also known as Billy Joel, by people who respect him enough to pronounce his name properly. I've been mistaken. This is not a Billy Joel song at all. This is actually a song by the band Kiss. My mistake. I cannot promise you it will never happen again. I think that's asking for trouble. Speaking of which, what the? It was in the right place. In my head, I looked at it and it was in the right place. I gotta tell you, the Tetris community is coming fast and furious today. My brain's a little slow as well. I'll admit, it's the first video of the day. You gotta shake out the cobwebs a little. Shake out the cobwebs. Maybe it's time to switch to back to the Tetris 99 theme. Back in the Vancouver groove. In my defense, that seems way more like a Billy Joel song to me than a Kiss song. First off, it's about New York. Kiss is supposed to sing about Detroit. So honestly, I mean, they should be apologizing to me for misrepresenting the situation. Maybe that's not fair of me, but, you know, I feel slighted by my own lack of musical knowledge and ignorance in that department, and, you know, I would like to hit back, and is that so wrong? Yes? Okay, well, that's all I've ever asked for was an honest appraisal. Okay. What's so bizarre to me about these runs is that it's not really that early game fear that's getting us, you know? If that makes sense. Like, we're playing very aggressively in the early game. And it's kind of, I don't want to say it's going fine, because we're kind of in a spice situation as is right now. I think we can afford that. You know what? Give me just the quickest of quicksends. But so, oh my god. Did you see the anti-aggression techniques at play there? Very resinous. But it's really like once things get tight at the end, you know, that's supposed to be like my, that's my moment, and I'm not doing a great job of handling that right now. So, you know, there's some soul searching to be done. Unfortunately. Or, you know what? Fortunately. Who doesn't like the opportunity to do a little soul searching? You know who does like the opportunity? The band Train. The classic song, "Hey, soul searching, ain't that Mr. on the radio?" Just probably one of my favorite songs. Don't you mean favorite? No. No, I don't. Okay, it was a nice double Teddy, also known as a Tetris. We got 3 KOs, also known in the boxing world as a TKO. They're always coming up with their own names for stuff, you know? I don't get it. Why do you gotta gatekeep so hard? Boxing? I just use the word 3 instead of making it your own, you know, your own thing. Trying to keep others out of the boxing world. I don't understand. If I was the president of the Boxing Federation, I would try to bring people into the boxing world. Nightly screenings of all the Rocky films, at least the good ones, of which there are a few. I mean, Rocky 1, it's a good movie. I mean, it's a great movie. Believe it or not. If you think that's about boxing, you're technically correct, but understating it. Rocky 2, not as good. Not a complete disaster, and some of the later Rockies are definitely guilty of being complete disasters. But not as good. Definitely not as good. Rocky 3, pretty much garbage. Rocky 4, good for different reasons. Very strange. And Sylvester Stallone, he's got a lot of movies like this in his career and, you know, in his life, I suppose. You know, Rambo's kind of the classic example. First Rambo. By the way, I am focused. Radio silence. Just eat it, dude. I don't even want to talk about the garbage hole at the present moment. This nonsense. We were in there. Dude, I'm telling you, the Tetris community, it's Smurf Central. Are you seeing all this? Oh, level 14, level 25, level 9. I don't believe you. Did you buy a third Nintendo Switch? Just so you could play Tetris 99 at the newbie tier? That's disrespectful. Honestly, it says more about you than it does about me. We got one more in us today. It is bizarre to me, is all I'm saying, is that Sylvester Stallone's two biggest movie franchises are typified by the first movie being unbelievably and unexpectedly good, and then almost all of the future sequels being, like, tainted, not necessarily in a bad way, although tainted is kind of it's an unambiguous word for that context. Well, what are you doing? But, you know, they work on their own terms, but very differently. Like, the first Rambo is very much not like, hoorah, American military owns forever, you know? The first Rambo is like surprisingly moving tale about, you know, the treatment of veterans and post-traumatic stress disorder. Every subsequent Rambo, for whatever reason, was like, hey, John, we're just gonna choose to forget about the time that you murdered all those. Well, he only murders, like, I mean, they drew first blood. It's right there in the title. But anyway, point is, they're like, John, I would much prefer to not be talking to you right now, but simultaneously, you're the only hope we've got at stopping the Viet Cong. And you're like, really? That's where you went with this one. I mean, to be fair, like, and this is sincere, but perhaps modestly unpopular. Well, I don't know. Rambo 2 is actually, like, not bad. Despite the fact that it's a completely different movie than the original. I mean, but to be fair, what do you want them to do? Continue making... You can't franchise, you know, John Rambo's mental trauma. You gotta turn him into some sort of hero if you're gonna make it work, you know? You could also just, you know, not franchise it, but regardless. I mean, he's still making the Rambos, and I mean, they're still pretty bad, apparently. Okay, get me off attackers. You will not find many more people who are more apologetic to the Rambo franchise than I am. And yet still, I think, you know, you got to acknowledge it's just a bizarre movie. Anyway, how long have we been talking about this? 2 hours! Help. Extremely bad situation. That, you know, how do you get yourself out of a prison made of chocolate cake? One bite at a time, brother. One bite at a time. Give him one of these. Get yourself out. Get yourself out. Get yourself out. Okay. One of these. I think you gotta make a break for it on this one. We have to punish the attacker. This is one where, if I'm being 100% honest, there are hard feelings about the way that I was unfairly targeted here, which was, by the way, not unfair in the least, but made me upset nonetheless. So I'm going to choose to use this as an opportunity to advance my own agenda, put my tender heart in a blender, and still I surrender. Back down. I think you just do one of these. We will need a long piece to get ourselves out here. I don't love this, but I think you just got to accept that it's a start. And then, you know, with this, I think you just, again, take the most modest of modest compromises. No Jonathan Swift allowed. All of a sudden, how many attackers did we get from that? Like, not mad. I'm not even just disappointed. I'm just surprised is all. That, you know, I fought my way back in my time of need. And your approach right there was not to say, hey, NL. Great job. Your approach instead was to say, hey, NL. Just kidding, get him. You hit me with the just kidding, get him. I don't respect that. But you know what? We're here. We're here. We're in the... starting to feel like the top 10 zone. Building a little high. So you send it down. We should have been on KOs for that one. Let's just say that that's better late than never, even though that might not actually be applicable in this situation. Okay. Quick responses. When they send garbage, we send garbage. Please recognize a mistake was made here. Did get a KO out of it. Not deserved. But the most important thing to remember, I think above all else, is that one is a genius, the other's insane. They're pinky. They're pinky. And the brain. Brain. Oh, that's not where that was supposed to go. I don't see a square piece. And to be honest, this is like the one time in my entire life I've ever desired the existence of the square piece. Now I see a square piece. For the record, very spicy situation here. Lots of attackers. Can't say I blame them. The time has come to prove ourselves. Stop. Let me send. Let me send. You gotta get over. If you won't get over, you gotta get this. Oh, it won't get over, dude. When you get that close to the top, the Z pieces become Gorilla Glue. We got Gorilla Glued. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I think we could have had that one, but we'll be back stronger than ever. See ya.